Hello. So let's take a look at how we can configure the payment wallet in Oracle Fusion Cloud, as well as how we can configure the bank transmission configurations in the ERP Cloud. So to start with, we are first going to take a look into how to create the payments wallet. So let's go to setup and maintenance, and I'm going to go to a wider search here. Okay. And I'm going to search for manage system security options. Okay, let's open this particular task. Okay, now usually if you have not configured the payment wallet, then this button will be enabled. But because this button is disabled, that means the payment wallet has already been created, and we can see the details over here. So we don't have to recreate it. Basically, it has been already created. But if you're creating it newly, you can just click on this button and let it automatically create the wallet, payment wallet. Now, in this case, what we are going to do is we are going to validate if we really have a payment wallet created or not from the back end. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to tools, I'm going to reports and analytics. I'm just going to browse catalog. This is just to uh, write a query. So I'm just going to create a new data model. Let it load. Okay. And now I'm going to write a new query, and I'll just name it test. I'll change it to FSCM, and I'll just say select star from, and this is the table which holds all the details about the payment wallet. So IBY sys security options. If I say OK and just say go to data and view, we should be able to see that there is a hash, system key hash, and we can see this is the payment wallet basically. So this confirms that the payment wallet exists. Now let's take a look at uh, how we can import basically the payment wallet from one environment to another, how we can export and import to another environment. So we are going to go back to scheduled processes, and we are going to run the new process, and the name of the job is import security credential job. Okay. Okay, now here what we have to do is we are basically going to select the credential file type as export payments wallet. Okay, and then we are not going to set any other parameters. We let it select or set other values automatically, and we are just going to submit it. The process is submitted. Okay, it succeeded. So what it does is it essentially exports the file over to UCM, and let's see if the file has been created or not. So again, we go to tools and we go to file import export. And here, if I just run a search, we should be able to see our file, but let's see. All right, that's it. So this is our file, which is .ks, which is the key store. So IBYOPSS KS. So that file has been created. So now we essentially download this file and we go to the target environment we come to the same screen, the file import export, and we upload that file with the plus button. Once that file is uploaded, we'll be able to see that file over here on the target environment. Now, in the target environment, when we want to import that particular file, then we again go to scheduled processes and we run okay. So we run the same job, but in this case, we are going to say import payments wallet, and in that case, it should show us all the files from UCM, and we should be selecting the one that we uploaded. In this case, it will be this. And if we click submit in the target environment, I'm just simulating using the same environment, then the job should be successfully completed. And that's how we will be done with migrating the payment wallets to the target. So this is completed. So the payment wallet has been successfully imported. Now let's take a look at how to configure the bank transmission configuration. So now we are again going to go back to setup and maintenance. And here we can locate the payments functional area. And on the right side, if we scroll down, we find a task called manage transmission configurations. The same can be done by going to the wider search and by searching for the task called manage transmission configurations. It's going to uh, point us to the same task. So I opened the manage transmission configurations. Here we want to create a new bank transmission configuration. So in this case, we are going to select a particular protocol. In this case, the protocol would be secure file transfer, which is SFTP for static file names. And we are transferring files, so we are not going to select the one with retrieval. We are just going to select SFTP for static file names. And we are going to click on create. So now we are in the screen where we have to configure the bank transmission. So here I'm going to put the SFTP address of the bank. All this information would be provided by the bank naturally. So I'm just putting some dummy information for the example purpose. So sftp.testbank.com, for example. The port number would be something like 1000. We definitely would be given the account username and account password. So we will enter that information over here. We are going to create some new password so that we can generate the private key file. So I've just entered some password so that we can generate the private key file. Remote file directory, it has to be mentioned. Most likely it's root, like just slash, or it could be some folder name like data files or something like that. Purely depends on how bank configures the their server. And then if needed, we can prefix or mention the send file name that it should have whenever the files are transmitted. Now coming back to the client private key file, we have to click on drop down and click advanced create. And here we have a couple of options. One is what should be the key type and what should be the length. So key type usually we have only as RSA, and most likely it might be 2048, and we just click save. As soon as we click save, a SSH file, the private key file, would be generated. And now we can click again the drop down and we can click on export and delete. In this case, we have to enter the same password again so that we will be able to export it. We are not going to delete it, we are just going to export it. And when we say export, the file has been exported to UCM. Okay, and then the file name should be pertaining to that. And then we just can save and close. All right, changes are saved. And now if we go to UCM, we can check it from file import export. and let's say we filter it something created after yesterday, and we say search, right? And we can see here we just now generated a SSH file and a pub file. Now pub file is the public key. We need to download this, and once we click on this, it's going to save it to our machine, and then we can provide this to the bank, and bank needs to update their servers, import it into their servers. Once that is done, then we can go back to our bank transmission configurations, and then we can come and test the configuration. So for example, let's assume bank has imported our public key. Then we go back here, and I'll just search for it, and we created a test one, should be in the end. Okay, and then we just test it. Right now it's not going to complete nicely. Yeah, it couldn't be completed, but otherwise this is how we'll test it, and we should have message called saying test succeeded, and that's the indication that now we can transmit the files to the bank. So that's pretty much how we can configure the payment wallet and configure the bank transmission configurations in Oracle ERP Cloud, and so that we can establish the secured file transfer for various files with the bank institutions. Thank you.